Hi everyone, this is Frank Demora with the Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, and today is actually December the 6th, 2012. The post that you're looking at was a post that I put up on December 16th, 2011, and this was information that showed from the Bible that Iraq, which is Old Testament Babylon, will be rebuilt again in the last days. And Iraq will become the center, one of the centers of modern commerce for the entire world. It's going to be playing a major role in Bible prophecy. Now, if you just discovered my YouTube channel, I'd like you to invite you to my Bible prophecy site, BibleProphecyMan.com. And when you're there, you'll see a link. Click to the link below, and when you go to my post now this year of December 6th of 2012, you'll notice that the book has been updated to January the 2nd of 2012. But for this particular video, I wanted to show you. You can go to this link. Just Google Babylon being rebuilt with the title here, drug use and so forth. And it will take you to this post and give you all the information and all the facts concerning Babylon will be rebuilt in the last days. Now, why am I giving this information to you? Is because we're moving closer to the Lord, and so we should be seeing signs that Iraq is going to be propelled very soon into a position of commerce like we see in the Scriptures. Now, what I'd like to do is to show you, first of all, I received an email, and I'm going to put this up for you right now, if I can get it here, an email, and of course, the person wanted to be anonymous. They wrote on something about a blog that was recently posted, and this person wanted to keep his identity unknown, so I am going to oblige with him as well and not show who it is. But I want to show you what he wrote because it does make a lot of sense, and then I'm going to give you an article that will maybe give you some more insights on what's happening in the world's economy. It says, I followed your blog for several months for entertainment purposes only. I want shed some light on this, and maybe others can better understand the business side of the world. The Iraqi dinar will be worth more money to Iraq, the United States, the EU, China, Japan, Russia, Japan, Saudi, and etc. once the added sanctions go live on Iran. Now, the sanctions that he is talking about are the sanctions that the United States, the European Union, and some other nations are trying to make against Iran for going ahead to try and build their nuclear facilities, to arm themselves with a nuclear warhead that would be able to destroy Israel and be able to reach other nations that are close by Iran. So primarily the people who want the sanctions are the United States and the European Union. But here is an article that came out, and it's from the Bloomberg Business Week. And you see today, January 6th, it's a current report. It says, EU-Iran oil sanctions likely to be phased in, officials say. It says the European Union embargo on Iranian oil will probably be phased in to protect countries with the greatest alliance on imports for the country, according to an EU official familiar with talks. EU foreign ministers are likely to agree to block Iranian oil imports at a meeting in Brussels on January 30th, and working groups are negotiating the details of how the embargo will be imposed, said the official, who declined to be identified because the talks are private. Countries with the biggest dependence on Iranian oil, including Italy, Greece, and Spain, have raised concerns over how existing contracts could be treated when the embargo is imposed, an official said. Phasing in the sanctions would help to ensure that Iran, rather than the European countries, loses out as a result of the embargo, he said. Now, you can go on to keep reading. You can see that the article's fairly long. But what I wanted to show you, and so that you'll understand that there's definitely works in the works right now trying to embargo oil. In other words, let's put a stop to what Iran is doing. We'll put a hurt to their economy. Now, let me go back to what this person wrote me, this person who wanted to keep silent. And again, I'll tie it in for you. It says, once Iran's oil is off limits, Iraq will be the go-to country, which means immediately we'll be providing millions more barrels of oil for the world with little competition, meaning immediate clients and less competitors, bringing price down, securing the USA investment in Iraqi oil. Now, I believe personally that one of the reasons why the United States got involved in the Iraqi war all the way back when President Bush Sr. Was because of the oil interests. Saddam Hussein was an enemy of the United States, and obviously we saw after the attack that they did not have any nuclear weapons at that time, and so there was a lot of controversy about the attack, but that is another issue. But here's the main purpose and the main focus of this particular email that was sent to me. There's a lot of insights on what this person is saying, and there's a lot of truth to what he is saying. It says, not to mention the added benefit of stopping Iran from obtaining a world MD. This would be a world, I believe he wanted to say nuclear device, because that's what the embargo is all about. So it says, I could go further in depth, but thought that I could help ease some minds and let you know that the RV will happen once those new added sanctions go live. Now, for those who don't understand what's happening here, RV means they're going to revamp or to release the Iraqi currency, which at this particular point is not an international currency. They have to go through, they have to come out of Chapter 7, which they're working on right now. And once that happens, the Iraqi currency will be, again, used internationally. And I believe because of these oil sanctions that the United States and the European Union are trying to oppose on Iran, that this RVN will be sped up because of it, because they need the oil. It's an immediate need. So it goes on to say that the USA has been working on contracts to replace Iran oil for Iraq oil in EU and guarantee China and Russia they will get their oil and for a better price with longer contracts backed by Iraq oil. So if this does happen, let's look at prophecy now. If this happens, Iraq is going to be the major or the pinnacle for oil for different countries around the world, which would propel them to the top, and it will increase their economy to a point where they're going to be built up just like the Bible says to be the center of commerce in the last days. Now, in my other post, I showed you all the different businesses that are going to Iraq right now. Even though that there is some upheaval, major corporations are flocking into Iraq making investments. Just recently, there was 3 major hotels, 5-star hotels that are moving and want to build in Iraq. So there's a lot to what's happening in Iraq that shows us that Babylon from the Old Testament, which is modern-day Iraq, is definitely on the road to fulfill prophecy. It says, USA nor Iraq cares how much dinar the public has, because the wealth that will come from what they are working on will be hundreds of years where the public wealth will be taxed and spent in the economy, only helping the USA effort. It says nobody is stopping this RV. In other words, bringing out the Iraqi currency to make it worldwide again, or an international currency. Because of the crazy nuts in Iraq, this RV has nothing to do with Iraq, and it never has. What people are reading they are coming to conclusions themselves, because people need to make sense of things that they can't comprehend. So we read and hear all these predictions and intel, which none have a clue what is at stake here. Now, I know what's at stake, because the Bible tells us that Iraq is going to be the center for the world. And we know that God comes against the modern day Babylon in the last days. So there's a lot to be said about the rebuilding of Iraq in the last days. It says, I will tell you here and now, once those newly added sanctions go live, so will the RV. And it won't be much higher than the Kuwaiti, because that's bad business with Kuwaiti when you need Kuwaiti to do business. Now, what they're talking about, I believe, and we could do a Google. I haven't Google searched this in the first month of 2012, but the last time that I did, the Kuwaiti dollar was worth about $3.50. So, say for example, a person has an Iraqi dollar, and it RV'd today. That Iraqi dollar would actually be worth $3.50. All right? So you could see that the people that were holding the Iraqi currency would actually be making a lot of money. And this is what this person who doesn't want to identify himself is actually leading to. But let me finish this. It says, not to mention keeping the peace so oil pipelines and shipping aren't disturbed. So we know that if we had control, if the United States and the European Union had control of the oil, and they didn't have to get their oil from the enemy, which is Iran, which obviously now you see that they're trying to put sanctions on, then they would be able to control this. So there's a lot good that would come out of this, but there's also a lot of bad things that could come out. And the bad thing would be that this building up of Iraq shows that we're closer to this one world system. We're closer to the Antichrist, who will eventually control, and he will have his hands in Iraq again, and be able to control what people buy or sell. And there's going to be a lot of changes that will happen in the near future. And Iraq is going to play a major role. So I wanted us to bring this to your attention, because there's no doubt in my mind that Iraq is going to be rebuilt, and we are beginning to see the rebuilding of Iraq now. So please, before you write to me and say that, the United States is Babylon, which is ridiculous, go through all the scriptures that you'll see at my website, and you'll be able to link to those, to the, for example, once you're at this particular site, which came out December 15th, all you have to do at that point would be to click here. Once you're there, click it, and it will take you to my other post, which has all the videos, that gives you all the scriptures, and this will give you insight on what God had showed us about the last days. Now, it may take a few minutes, as you saw here, to download the videos with the scriptures and then the explanations of it. But all you do is go there and you can get it immediately, or if you wanted to, just Google my my headline here, and this post will come up immediately. So I hope that this has helped you to show you what's going to be happening in the near future with Iraq, and possibly if you're holding Iraqi dinari, you might become your wallet will probably have a hard time closing soon. So God bless everyone.